How's everybody doing today? Today on Brian and Brian, we're going to be talking about somebody special and something that's going on in his life. Before we get started on that, I'd like to make sure everybody knows that Brian Kaiser's on the other side of this.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
So today, we want to let everybody know that a friend of the sport, Rome Milan, was just diagnosed with ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease. Um, Many of you guys have interacted with Rome at the Gymnastics Association of Texas convention, which is coming up in about a month and a half. And or at meets, gymnastics meets, conferences, clinics. He's been a big part of the sport for what, like 50, 60 years, Brian?
Yeah, probably not that long, but yeah, a long time. The guy has been around, and like I put in the show notes, there's nobody that I know that knows more about the history and has more relics and collectibles, equipment wise, and pins from the Olympic Games, and just all kinds of paraphernalia from our sport than Rome Milan. I mean, the guy judged when I was competing, and that was wow, that was a while back. And he's been part of our sport and part of what has made Texas gymnastics great for many, many, many years. So glad to be doing the show, and glad to be part of the fund that we're going to do through GAT. Glad to be part of that and help raise some money to help him in his battle with this very debilitating disease.
So I'd like to share an email that he sent one of our the Gymnastics Association of Texas board members. That way, you guys gonna understand what he's dealing with, and then we're gonna finish this out. We're gonna talk about a challenge. We're gonna bring back the ice bucket challenge for him, and then we're gonna talk about how you can contribute. So here it goes. The last part of November, the first part of December 2017, I noticed that I was having some occasional slurred speech. I then noticed I was speaking very slowly in mid December. Pauline commented that I may have had a mini stroke. After Christmas and the break, I returned to coaching at Birdville ISD, where I noticed the inability to speak loudly. I could not yell to the team when coaching vault. I set an appointment to my personal doctor. After a few tests, he referred me to a neurologist, which I scheduled after the 2018 Metroplex Challenge. At the Metroplex Challenge, which I normally judge and announce awards, it was determined that my slurred speech was an issue. I sounded drunk and again was having difficulty throwing out my voice loudly to signal the gymnast while judging. I had to step down as head judge. This was very discouraging, but I knew that I was seeing the specialist on the following Monday. I proceeded to this neurologist and performed MRIs, X-rays, blood tests. All were done very quickly. I was happy when told that I had a very beautiful brain. Definitely there were no strokes. I was relieved, but more tests were scheduled and I was put on medical leave. Through February, I was going to labs or scheduled appointments every other day, it seemed. All in all, I had 31 vials of blood taken for tests and more MRIs as well as an EMG. The EMG was very thorough. They sent electrical impulses through a needle in 51 different muscles, including up through my chin into my tongue. Each muscle, the needle was reapplied in the areas of the muscles, a total of 3 times. Excuse me. I was told that all were abnormal. Excuse me. I was told that all were abnormal results. I was diagnosed with ALS, Lou Gehrig's, on February 11th. I was immediately scheduled to a second opinion at UT Dallas Southwestern, where they are a specialist in the ALS area. Several appointments there confirm the diagnosis of ALS. Pretty tough stuff, guys. You know, unfortunately, this disease can affect areas of your brain or speech and motor development. And then of course, treating this and trying to slow down the progress of this disease can be very expensive, and it can take a lot of your quality of life away. So, what we want to do as the Gymnastics Association of Texas is to raise the money to help him cover those expenses, help offset those expenses, but it's really not going to cover it in the end. And hopefully, this will help improve his morale and cover those costs and take some burden off of them.
You know, it's just like Rome, though.
Yeah.
I can see Rome. We could be talking to him right now, and Rome would say, "You know, guys, The doctor said I had a beautiful brain. And then he would go in to describe it because that's how Rome is. And then he would bring up something about gymnastics and we'd go off on a tangent. So it is very important that we support Rome. Rome's been, like I said, he's been part of the history of Texas gymnastics. He's been very, very involved. It still is involved in the Sokol gymnastics program up there in Fort Worth area. So he's just one of those guys that you see Rome, you got to chat with him, you got to talk with him, you got to find out what he's been up to, where he's been traveling, where he's got new paraphernalia from, or a new historical piece that he's going to put on display at the Metroplex Challenge or at GAT or at any of the number of places that he goes all around the country. Like not just in Texas, he goes all over the country with his gymnastics display and the history of gymnastics there. And he really has done great things for the sport. And now it's time for us to give back to him. And like you said, we're bringing back Bryan and Bryan in conjunction with GAT is bringing back the Ice Bucket Challenge. And we've got some people that we want to challenge. I think that they're going to be up to the task. What do you think? You think they're going to be up to the task?
Oh, I know they are. I know these guys individually, and they're going to do it. But there are challenges. Well, there's prizes, right, Bryan?
Well, there's prizes. There's
prizes.
There's prizes, and yeah, let's give them the prizes.
So GAT is offering 3 prizes. Okay, for the first prize, so first place, which is the most money donated to the GAT's fund. And each of these 3 prizes that we have is $1,000 minimum donation required. So we get that straight. Okay. So prize number 1 is 3 GAT memberships. Okay. Prize number 2, 2 GAT memberships. Prize number 3, 1 GAT membership. But there's more. Each of those prizes, okay, each company that receives those prizes gets to choose 1 GAT board member to do the Ice Bucket Challenge at GAT this year.
That means that you or I are probably going to get dumped on.
Yeah. And hopefully you don't pick the same person all 3 times.
Or, maybe they'll get James. James is always up for that.
All 3
James
times.
Is always up for it. Yeah, you can get James all 3 times. He's up for it. It's good.
Yeah. So before we call out 3 people, how do they donate, Bryan?
Okay, so the easiest way for me to set all this up was to put it on the GAT website. And all the information, same thing as a little bit of a summary, I guess I should say, of what we went over here will be up, and it'll be on the webpage, and then there'll be a link. And you just click on the link, and you can donate with a credit card. You can also mail in a check, which I'll have the address up on the website. But the easiest, quickest way is to just click the link and use the card. Now, in order to win, we need the largest donation. But it wouldn't be any fun if you didn't video it and tag us on the GAT Facebook, or you can tag us on the Bryan and Bryan Facebook. That's fine too, because then I'll take it and I'll repost it back over to the GAT page. So, but we need the video. You have to have the video. If you don't have the video, then we don't have any proof that you got doused with ice water. And we really need that because that's the exciting part of the challenge. And it's going to be fun when James takes all 3 of those ice buckets for us at GAT.
That's right. That's right. I think it's going to be a blast.
He's going to be so happy that we volunteered him.
It's going to be so hot at GAT anyway. So, going outside over by the pool, you just douse that thing. You'll walk back in, you'll feel refreshed, then you'll freeze to death like a popsicle inside of the hotel room or the convention rooms.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
All right, so we're gonna challenge people, and you know what? I just thought of a 4th person we have to challenge, or 4th gym we have to challenge. So,
okay, we got to do it.
The first challenge: Greg Schramm, Eagles Wings Gymnastics, Eagles Wings Athletics.
That's Eagles Wings Athletics. That's right.
The true name. All right, Bryan. Who's next?
Second is Bruce Cowell, San Antonio Gymnastics Academy. Bruce, I know you're up for the challenge, my friend. Get it done.
All right, this one. I don't have a specific name, but because I don't want to challenge Rome directly, but I might as well. So Rome Milan with Sokol Gymnastics. I'm going to challenge him on his own ice bucket challenge.
And now that one right there needs to be a substantial donation. If anyone doesn't donate big time to see Rome get involved in his own donation, then you're just wrong. But hey, going for number 4 And I know that this guy's up for it because he's like a major help in everything and anything that anyone asks him to do. He's always going the extra mile. Sean Townsend, Pearland Gymnastics Academy, and I guess it's Pearland Gymnastics Academy / Reflex, but everyone knows Sean. Sean Townsend, come on, man, bring it home.
Now, guys, don't forget when you do the ice bucket challenge, you have to challenge. I think what 3 people?
3 people.
Yeah, 3 people to do it.
And remember, not just in Texas,
Yeah.
because people know Rome throughout the country. So it's not like he's just a Texas guy. This guy's known. Everybody knows Rome, and he's got a lot of friends. And you know what? Everyone wants to help him. We've gotten a lot of emails and messages from people wondering when we were going to get this up. We didn't want to put it too far out from GAT. So about 6 weeks here is about the right time. So, get involved and, hey, make some good challenges and send us the video.
All right, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you guys later.